Welcome to Unit 2 of the Credit Skills Academy. This is on small business lending, and I'm Keith Dickinson. I'm the Director of Studies. After studying this unit, you should be able to assess lending propositions from small or relatively unsophisticated business customers, understand the fundamentals of ratio analysis, and manage lending in business startup situations, including franchises. Many years ago, Ernest Bolton wrote the Bolton Report on small businesses, and he set down the characteristics of small businesses. He did definitions and industry classifications. What he did stress was the importance of the small business sector, and some Bolton Report conclusions are of interest to we lenders. One of the first tests when you're facing a lending situation is to consider the use of a mnemonic. The most popular one, of course, is Campari, with which you'll be very familiar. And then there's PARSA and Swot Analysis, SWOT being the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats facing a business. When you're assessing a lending situation, the key assessment areas include the customer and his business, the asset cover for the advance, clearly the serviceability of the debt, and it's up to us to monitor the business performance. Going right back to basics, how much is required, what's to be done with the money, what are the plans for repayment, what will be the bank's position if the plans go wrong, is there some security cover available, and what's the experience and track record of the borrower? We've got to explore all these points. A cash flow forecast will tell us what is to be done with the money and how the money will come and go in and out of the business. The plans for repayment will be illustrated in the cash flow forecast and the feasibility of any repayment program envisaged. If things go wrong, then the buffer is the net worth of the business, and we hope there's plenty of net worth within the business when we lend to it. Some of the essential facts we need to discover: the technical ability of the customer, the integrity of the proprietors, the availability of business resources, how well is the business organized, who keeps the records, and is there a business plan? The financial performance was often covered by the financial statements. Standards do vary, so be careful. But we do have plenty of bank records to look at. Don't forget to use ratios to pinpoint the way ahead. Look for a reasonable balance between net worth and debt, sometimes called gearing or leverage. Look for a reasonable balance between net worth and debt, and other ratios will give us indications of liquidity, debt serviceability, and trading performance. Most important of all, perhaps, is cash flow analysis. One of the hardest types of business to lend to for we lending bankers are business startups. It's a difficult area because there's no track record. Most business proprietors are enthusiastic and over-optimistic, but perhaps they sometimes lack managerial skills. It's also essential for the startup there's a reasonable level of capital introduced into the business by the proprietor to give the bank a buffer against loss. A business plan will be essential. Don't forget that before you can prepare a cash flow forecast, you really need a financial budget stating what the turnover will be, what the gross profit will be, what the overhead costs of the business are likely to be, and setting out whether the proprietor envisages a profit or a loss. Based on those figures, we can then prepare a cash flow forecast as to how the monies will go in and out of the business. Sometimes businesses are franchised, and franchise situations do have advantages, but they also have disadvantages. Don't forget at the end of Unit 2, there are self-assessment questions and case studies to help you with the studies. I hope you enjoyed the unit and benefit from your studies.